the picture that you have, that's
these guys here are some of the men are out of the neighborhood. One of them is a miller, but these, I should know.
You want to give that to Cindy and she'll hold it up?
Oh,
or you can go over to
this
her.
one is Frank.
the one in the middle.
This one. And they all, in the wintertime, you can see snows on the ground. When they weren't working the ground, I tell you, they run a good cover. They had whiskey for next winter and wine for next winter. And, you know, they planned ahead. Today, people don't do that. You have to payday to payday. That's it.
So the story's about you driving the truck with the whiskey under your seat. Was that true? The bootleg whiskey?
Well, I don't know if you call that what you call that, but that one that Jim Riddle, he dreamed that up.
Oh.
That one. But I drove. We delivered it, and it was definitely outlawed because you couldn't make it. But before Christmas, you take Aunt Bessie, Aunt Nettie, and all them people. It was free whiskey. It wasn't sold or nothing, but everybody, you couldn't buy it. And Mom, Charlie made good whiskey. So Charlie and Todd Rosina made. And when it was Christmas time, everybody that they knew had got some. And I would do the delivery. He'd be afraid. He was chicken.
Well, weren't you afraid?
I've never been afraid to lie. And now I'm not afraid of it.
Yeah.
But I never was afraid to lie. I never was afraid of nobody. I ain't afraid. No one's afraid. It's just like this guy out here. So he might think people's afraid of him, but I ain't afraid of him.
So what? You're the one that had the guts to drive.
I wasn't afraid. I had always drove ever since I was old enough. And I wasn't afraid of nobody. Nothing. I mean, there you are. I'm just, we were taught that way. I never was afraid of anybody. Uncle Frank was more the chicken because he had little kids, and he had to be a little more careful. Charlie never married. And at that time, I wasn't married. No. Jim, he's always been a chicken. I know when he went to meet St. Peter, he was scared. He was always a sissy. But Frank, Jim, and Frank was not that for himself, but he was careful in county's relationship. But I don't know. That really wasn't bootlegging. That was just a Christmas whiskey. That was all. Everybody needed a shot at Christmas time, don't you, Cameo?
So that was different, huh? So you only did it at Christmas?
But that's the only time unless somebody was sick. You never. They buried it in I almost kept shooting one time over that. They buried it in the straw down at the barn. And Hal Rosiner, he always was a crook. He would steal anything. So he had, another boy had borrowed 2 cars off of Charlie's car. We'll bring you one back. You know these hot cars like you get out here every night. I'll bring you one Friday.
Oh.
So Friday they bought cars. Well, come like Sunday, Bush and the police department was down in the barn looking at them.
Oh.
And Charlie said, "You son of a bitch, if you stole that car, I'll kill you." And he meant it, and he would have too. But he didn't steal. They hadn't stolen it.
Oh,
because the cars that were stolen off of a neighbor that had no, you know what it means, nothing. And it would have been terrible. Charlie Riddle wouldn't steal your tires. He wouldn't care who he was. He didn't believe in stealing something. He'd give you a tar, but he wouldn't steal one from you. None of them were thieves. None of them.
Who was your favorite brother?
Oh, Charlie and Frank. Charlie first. Because Charlie sent me, I hadn't been for Charlie, I'd have never got through high school. I got through high school with white boots and a permanent and all that kind of stuff. But if it hadn't been for Charlie, I would have never done. I did little things around there for him, like wash his car and keeping his clothes ready and stuff like that. You know.
How much older was he?
Oh, I don't know, something like 20 years, 22 years.
Oh, really?
Like that. Yeah. He was, I really don't know. I'd have to get the pencil on that.
So there was a wide range.
Yeah, well, you see, there was 9 years between Jim and Charlie. She didn't have no children. And then Aunt Rennie comes in there, which was 3 years. And then Jim. So I don't know, I wouldn't notice. But I was a little girl, and he always said, you can't keep your mouth shut and your eyes open when you can go. And I used to go. I used to go to the park. I used to go to the ball game. We'd take any place he'd go, he'd take me. But Aunt really didn't stand a chance.
Well, so tell us about your nickname. How'd you get your nickname?
Oh, that was my father's name was Dick.
And so everybody calls you Dickie, huh?
Everybody.
So now everybody calls you Aunt
I was just like my father.
Oh, really?
That's what they all said. My mother said that.
Uh-huh.
I was just like my...
Just the way you did things, or did you look like him, too?
Huh?
Did you look like him?
Well, I don't know if I look like him or not, but they always tagged me with Pop. Well, you see, Mom was the Irish. She had the black hair and the blue eyes, and Pop had more of the Scottish, I guess it is. I don't know. The red blonde and the...
Well, did you have red? You didn't have red hair, did you?
Now, none of us had red hair, but you had that. Somewhat. Maisy used to, every time she combed it, she'd tell me I had that red hair.
Tell me about Aunt Maisy and Uncle Frank.
Huh?
Tell me about Aunt Maisy and Uncle Frank.
Aunt Maisy was from the hills of West Virginia. And of course, that didn't sit so good with a lot of people because it didn't make no difference who you was. If you was from West Virginia, that was it. But,
what does that mean?
Hillbillies. You know, the hillbillies didn't make a stake down here until at the end of the war, the second war, not the first one. But, you know, it was kind of a disgrace to be a hillbilly.
So, how'd she marry Frank?
He worked for her father, and her father run a quarry. And then when he'd go home to lunch, and first thing you know, they had a romance going.
Oh.
They loved Frank.
Yeah.
But Frank's people never liked them. They were real ignorant people. They lived right across from where your mother lives. You know where your mother lives, and then what is that first one back there?
Johnny Cake?
Johnny Cake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then isn't there a quarry down there now?
Yeah, I think it's like off of Dogwood Road.
Yeah, Dogwood's the name of it.
Yeah, down.
Well, that's where they worked. So, but they were good, clean people and all, but they were real, you know, they didn't have no refinement whatever. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, they had all the cuts. Well, will you tell me? That's another thing gets to me. Now, you can shut it off if you want to, Jen. I want to know, how is it so many people today can't read and write? And all of us learned to read and write, and I don't know why. I mean, we didn't just read a little bit. You read at that time when you had dinner, they cleaned off the table. Everybody had a light, and everybody read a book. Mm-hmm. And then we had radio, and then along come all these people with radios, but we never took to the radios. Mm-hmm. Like the people listen to them all night.
Listen to the stories and stuff.
Well, I never was a story person.
Mm. So, what was it like to be at Aunt Maisy and Uncle Frank's house?
Huh?
You spent a lot of time at Aunt Maisy and Uncle Frank's house?
Oh, that was always fun. Aunt Maisy and Uncle Frank. Man, Aunt Maisy would bake and cook and stew and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Uncle Frank was always good company. And that's what I can't understand. People today are so mean to children. I can't understand it.
No.
I can't understand. I lived in the heart of Hamden. I lived in the city. But I was daggone if I remember anybody beating kids around there. Mm-hmm. Somebody would have strung them up on a flagpole. Yep. I don't know what this is. Today, our kids have a hard time. You want your honeybee? Huh?
No.
Don't think so.
No, she doesn't.
Well, I never knew your grandfather, but I heard your father make that crack about him in the belt and there, but he made that. He no matter what he done, I didn't want to see him. Mr. Spears.
Oh. Uh-oh. Look at a dirty face. Look, she's got a dirty face. A very dirty face. Can you see it?
She's a sweetheart.
Tell her what your name is.
No, look at it, showing off.
What's your name? What's your name? Is it Sarah? Yes. Sarah what?
Today is what? Today is it's Christmas holidays. I said,
Sarah
I don't know, come.
Okay.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday she could be.
And when you were
He loves to see her. He misses her when he doesn't see her.
mm-hmm. on Uncle Frank's farm, he used to farm for who?
Well, he farmed for himself, but the old lady was a widow that owned the farm.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I think it was something like 2/3 and 1/3 or something like that. Whatever. They had some kind of.
Oh, really? But he did all the farming.
She was a tight old woman.
What was her name?
Miss Brown. She was the mother to them two that went to be the school teachers. And they were like a lot of others, and she depended on Frank. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, she didn't have a drunk, and he did what he was supposed to do, and he did real good. But every once in a while, him and her would get lock horned or something.
But you were really fond of Aunt Maisy, right? Aunt Maisy and you were friends?
Aunt Maisy was buddies. Me and Aunt Molly was never more than good speaking to her.
Uh-huh.
She was domineering. Aunt Maisy always had a joke, always was happy, and we had a nice life.
And you spent a lot of time there?
Well, she had a lot of kids. She needed a lot of help.
How many kids did she have?
9.
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot. And I used to make them play houses. We tie rooms off with strings and a piece of stick and something, and they'd play and play and play. That's where I learned that you want kids to just play, just fix so they play.
Like you used to do with us, right?
But you get what you give, no matter what.
Yep. So how'd you meet Pop-Pop?
How did I do Pop-Pop? When he was a working man, he left at 6 o'clock in the morning, he'd come home 12 o'clock at night, and that was it. When he worked for Copper's Company, he went to work after I went to work in the morning. And then he worked a different shift. But Lord, he always worked. He's a man that always worked. It was part of his life. He didn't want to know, like Uncle Heinz, he didn't go to work today. Well, go halfway down LKC and decide the day ain't the day. You don't go to work today.
Well, did Pop go to school?
Pop went to Riddle.
Oh.
And that's why I can't understand. I just don't know what's wrong with the system we got there. There's something wrong with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the homes. Of course, the homes are bad. But I blame a lot of it on schools, too.
Well, did he graduate from high school?
He didn't graduate.
No.
But he got up. It went through the second year.
Okay. So like the 10th grade, something like that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, how'd you meet Pop?
Oh, he was my sister's brother, May
Right.
Regina. Well, May and I was always good friends. Well, at that time, she was already married to Aunt Regina. And
Well, how did you know her?
Huh?
How did you know her?
It was Aunt Regina's girlfriend. Well, another thing, I knew that outfit. They lived next door on the farm. They had one farm, and we were next door, the Brown farm, the Rosiners.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you talk about bad boys. They were bad boys.
So then he met May, and then you met Pop through her.
Well, no, that could get off on another string here. That was the church. They went to the dances. Well, my outfit was never really that kind. They never went to but May was a dancer.
Uh-huh.
And they had that dance hall, and I don't think she ever missed the dance as long as she was around. And Uncle Rose, he always had a nice car,
Uh-huh.
But he was kind of nasty. He wasn't a nice guy.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. But.
Now, I mean, as he got older, he drank, and,
Mm-hmm.
he just wasn't nice.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to